Welcome to another episode of Inside with Outsiders, and today's guest is someone whose name it took me 3 months to say properly. We've got Ifeanyi today, who's been an integral part of Outsiders. You know him as a great guide, as Mr. February, right?
Yes.
We'll get into that in a second, but Ifeanyi is a great piece of Outsiders in a sense where he's contributed so much. He is like the superhero, the caretaker. He's a firefighter, so kind of it's in your blood in a sense.
Yeah,
it's your personality.
It's my nature. It's who I am. Yeah.
Yes, it is, and thankfully so, especially because you keep people safe. So thank you.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm currently living in Queens.
Where are you from, man? Rep where you're from.
Harlem, raised in Harlem.
Where in Harlem are you from?
West Side Harlem, 135th Street, Lenox.
Okay.
All around Broadway. Before that, I was in the Bronx for a little bit, so pretty much all over the city.
Why did you move around so much?
Just like any New Yorker does. Rent being too high, and whatever situation is more convenient. But for the most part, I lived in most of my adult life was in Harlem.
Did you go to Bronx Science?
No, I went to the high school for math, science, and engineering. It's actually one of the specialized high schools that was...
You're just showing off now. Math, science, and engineering in high school, yeah.
On the City College's campus. And then I spent, obviously, the high school years there, and then I decided to not go anywhere and just go to City College for higher education.
CUNY in the house, represent.
Yeah, always.
I'm a Hunter College graduate.
Yeah, rivals, man, rivals.
We beat you in basketball. Actually, I almost had an in-game dunk on their star player. It's not about me, though.
Yeah. Go on.
On their campus, you know? Just saying, you almost got it. Pause.
Hey.
My fault.
No.
Anyway, so you just skipped to high school, like college. I mean, let's talk about your background. You're Nigerian, right?
Yeah, I was born in Nigeria, came to the United States when I
didn't know you were born there.
Yeah, I was born in Nigeria, came here when I was 3 years old. As any new parent, bringing a kid into a different environment, my dad always emphasized, hey, you got to learn language, you got to learn English. And I guess in that process, I lost my native tongue.
Was that Yoruba?
Igbo.
Igbo.
Yeah.
That's right. Like most of my Nigerian friends are Igbo.
Yeah.
Shout out to the other tribes, Yoruba and Hausa. Yeah. I know about Nigerians.
Yeah, this guy. Look at him.
I do. But I got a lot of family friends that are Igbo. Yeah. And you spoke that. You don't speak that anymore?
I don't speak it anymore. I understand a little bit here and there. I mean, a lot of, depending on, when I go back to Nigeria, the more I hear it, the more like I pick up on things, I guess with like any language. But
how often have you been back?
Last time I was back was, I would say 3 years ago. So it's been some time. Yeah.
It's an interesting place. I have my Nigerian friends that go there, and they tell me it's like the demeanor of people there is like really rough.
Yeah.
Right? It's like yelling is communication there, right?
I always say that Nigerians are very proud people. We are very proud of who we are, our heritage, our what we stand for. And so that comes off sometimes a little bit harsh on people who aren't familiar with it or used to it. But it's all from not a genuine place. Okay.
I remember my close friends that are Nigerian, we were in it's like the summer between college, some I think sophomore year, junior year in college. And I don't know, I was living in my mom's place. Yeah. I don't know where she was, because like I felt like the whole summer it was just us in the house, and we were broke. I remember we put all our money together and got like plantains, like rice or whatever we could that was cheap, and we made a meal, and we made like kind of like a night. It was like stew, plantains, rice, and like egg, right? That's kind of. And the stew was like we took whatever we found in the refrigerator. It was like marinara sauce. We found a salmon fillet. Like, let's throw a salmon fillet in there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Great memories. I mean, we didn't need a lot of money, but we had a great time.
That's what it's about, honestly. Like we, one of the things that we're very proud about is our food. As I mentioned, the culture. But you'll often hear the whole debate between I'm just blank right now.
What is it?
Jollof rice.
Jollof, yes.
Yeah, so you'll often hear like, Nigerian jollof versus Ghanaian jollof. And I'm here to set the record straight that Nigerian jollof is better. But we'll move on.
Shots out. We have any Ghanaians out there watching, post in the comments, set him straight if he's wrong. But he's in front of me, so I'm going to say, I guess Nigerian is better.
We are very proud of the food, the culture, and it's just who we are. It's what makes us individuals.
So What did you study in college?
I started off engineering. I started off mechanical engineering and then moved on to graphic design. So I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts.
Wait, hold up. You studied graphic design?
Yes.
How come you never told us this when we needed like graphics made for outsiders?
Because that was the fastest way for me to graduate college.
Gotcha. All right. Are you so well versed in graphic design?
A little
or
bit.
even engineering?
A little bit here and there. A lot of it's just like the passion of just seeing how things work, seeing how things are made. I picked up a lot of things as far as like InDesign, Photoshop, here and there, but obviously those softwares are a lot more expensive, so I don't really practice it as often.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was more so a way for me to segue into my career in IT. I started off while I was studying.
Was that right after college you went into IT?
No, I actually was working at the computer help desk at City College while I was studying, and I was there for several years. And it came to a point, there was actually like an aha moment where I was like, am I going to continue this path of graphic design that I paid a good amount of money to get, or am I going to continue the path of IT? So funny story, I don't really tell it, is I went on an interview. I think it was a graphic design job, and I think it was at P. Diddy's, I think either his label. And
no name dropping.
And I presented what I thought was a good portfolio. They did the typical, oh, don't call us, we'll call you.
Oh,
and
wow.
At that point, I was like, I was a little bit deterred.
This is your graphic design portfolio?
Yes, the graphic design portfolio. I was like, this isn't really the best
I mean, they
thing.
basically told you, like, we like your IT work.
And then one of my friends was like, hey, you've been working in IT for so many years. Why don't you apply for a job there? And immediately after, at the time I was working computer help desk. I was also working at Apple, and as any Nigerian.
You're a Genius Bar?
Working stock backup house and just front of house. And that, along with my many years of IT in the computer help desk, as soon as I applied to my first job getting out of college in IT, they were like, here, take all the money. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to stick with IT.
So is it common in your culture to have like many streams of income?
Absolutely.
My Nigerian friends all have like
it's the hustle.
side hustles.
It's the hustle in us. That's what this makes us who we are.
So you went into IT work, and what year was that?
I want to say, well, started off in college. And then moving forward, a full-time IT job around 2012. And I was doing that up until 2016 when I finally decided I was bored of it and I wanted something new.
And is that when, so you're a firefighter?
Yes.
So you're a firefighter, but you're also IT?
Yes.
Right?
So I am a firefighter. I work in Midtown, and I also work with the training, like setting up the training tutorials, and obviously we're in a pandemic and everything is moving towards remote work. So setting up remote tactical trainings for the different units across the city, making sure that a lot of the training videos and materials are available to them.
That's great stuff, but let's find out what compelled you to go into being a firefighter. Like, was there like an aha moment? Was there something like
initially
what inspired you?
when I was in college, one of my frat bros said, hey, he took the firefighter's exam. He's like, hey, you should do it, and what's the worst that can happen? And then a recruiter came up to me. He's like, hey, it's a really good way to have multiple sources.
This was in college?
This was in college.
So did you just simultaneously with the start of your IT career?
Around the same time, because I took the firefighter's exam in 2010. Yeah. And they didn't get back to me until 2015. It's a long. Yeah.
Is that normal?
Yeah. It's typically like a 4 to 5 year wait. I believe I was number 4,990 out of 40,000 people who took the exam.
Oh, wow.
And they finally called me several years later, obviously. They say, are you still interested in this? And at the point, I was like, I could further my career in IT. I could just do something entirely drastically
Well, what's
different.
interesting is that you end up doing IT for the fire
Exactly.
department.
Everything comes back full circle.
And you also do IT for the Knicks or MSG?
Yeah, correct. Knicks, MSG,
you gotta
and
figure it out, my friend.
Liberty. I've been hearing that way too often.
Yeah, by the way, part of being on the show means you gotta get us some Knicks tickets.
Oh, yeah.
Did you not tell you?
That.
Right? Is that BAMS? Is that isn't that part of the show?
I mean,
free Knicks tickets, floor tickets, right?
They're in the playoffs, so
I thought you were just doing this for free food.
Why are you letting them know our secrets? So how long have you been a firefighter?
I've been a firefighter for 4.5 years.
And what's your favorite part about being a firefighter?
Part of it is working where I am. I'm in Midtown right now, and the other part of it, I guess, goes back to just my inherent quality where I love helping people.
Caretaker for sure.
I love
That's
helping
very
people.
evident. I mean, people comment about that on our Outsider Adventures. Like we have people that have written to us complimenting their experience with Outsiders, and they say, we felt so safe and felt so taken care of by Ifeanyi. He waited for us, and I know, and I don't know if you dislike the fact that I always throw you in the back.
No, it's
but
good.
I pull you back in the back for a reason. Is because you bring up the back. People who are, and I'm talking about the hikes. People hike at different paces. People have different physical fitness levels and so on. So usually when it's someone in the back, it's someone that's struggling. And a lot of people a lot of guys don't usually have the patience for that. I have to be honest. I don't have the patience to wait, and I don't need to. I have a person like you to be extremely helpful. I have other guys like Brian likes being back there when you're back there and so on. But yeah, I mean, that quality that you have to be the caretaker, like the superhero to make sure everyone is good is, obviously translates over from being a firefighter to being an amazing Outsiders guide and host,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, that's part of that experience. I tried to relay that from when I first got onto Outsiders. It was such a.
How did you find Outsiders? Because you're roommates with Jamie, and you brought Jamie to Outsiders. But how did you find Outsiders? I know the first Outsiders event, if I remember correctly, I remember from the beginning you were helping us.
Yeah.
We didn't ask you. It was a Rockaway ride, right?
Yeah, it was a Rockaway ride. It was
2018, 2017,
2017.
Yeah.
It was 2017, and it was interesting because I once again reached a crux point in my life where it was like I finished the academy and I just got into the firehouse. I needed something new, something refreshing, and I was like, you know what? It's my birthday coming up. I wanted to do something different. One of my friends actually went on an Outsider. I think it was the kayaking on the Hudson.
Yes.
He went on that and he posted it. I was like, wow, this looks dope. And I was just looking for some new activities to just meet new people.
Same. Most people do the same.
Exactly. Just like
meeting new
just
people.
like-
We get a lot of messages like, "Hey, I'm coming alone. Is that weird?" I'm like, "No, that's the point. Come meet people." Yeah.
And at the same time, I biked a lot. I was biking everywhere, to and from work, just random trips all around the city. And I was like, hey, I love to bike, so why not do it? And I went on that Rockaway ride, and it was possibly the most life-changing experience ever. And I don't really
say that on camera, or you're trying to make me cry.
No, like it was such a good experience, and just seeing the genuine enjoyment and fun that people were having on this ride, and just you catering to making sure that everybody has. I mean, it's hard. You can't cater everybody's experience, but you did an amazing job and making it seem like everybody is welcome, and everybody is welcome.
I have it's a philosophy I have, and I kind of adapted it through throwing parties and hosting parties in nightlife. Is that I think it's a blessing that every single person that comes is a blessing comes to your event, right?
Yes.
Because they're coming for something that you produce. They don't have to come, but they do.
Yeah.
So in return, you gotta give them a little attention, right? A little energy, I should say.
Yeah.
Which means attention.
Yes.
Which means you give a little piece of yourself to them, so that you show your appreciation.
Yeah.
And make them feel wanted because they are wanted.
Exactly.
You know, it's not like a gimmick. It's not a game. It's not fake.
And that's exactly it. It's that genuine desire to make sure that people are having a good time. Like, once again, you can't please everybody, and that's the biggest thing. But letting them know, like, hey,
but you put in an effort.
Yes, exactly. Like, yes, you. I don't care if you're the last person. I'm enjoying it because you're enjoying it.
Right.
And that's typically how I am with just any interaction that I have in my life. Like, I gain that enjoyment, that excitement when other people around me are.
It was funny because I remember the first event you came on. One, I was like, this dude is ripped. Who is this guy? It's like, he looked like an anime, like a Ninja Turtle. Other thing about you is you had some funky socks on. I was like, he's got these blue socks.
Yeah.
But what really stood out to me was we were riding through Brooklyn. I think we were riding through Clinton Hill or Cobble Hill, actually, around there, maybe Brooklyn Heights. And we were like riding as a huge, massive group, but whenever we'd come to an intersection, some of us would stop, but usually the guides, you weren't a guide at the time, you were a patron, you were attending, you were an outsider per se, member.
Exactly.
And you were stopping in the intersection, stopping the traffic and letting people go. And I was like, this dude is, you might have paid like $15 to participate in this thing.
It was.
And you stopped at every crossing. You helped people cross. You were so helpful. And I was like, this guy is really, really passionate about being. I mean, obviously you want to make sure people were good, but you were sold. You were in on it.
Absolutely, hands down. Like it was from the first few miles, and just like the best part was like the music that was playing. I was like, wow, this is the best event that I've done. And every event after that, like whether it was whatever the hikes were, I was going through a number of hikes even before I started becoming helping out as a guide, where I was just like, I was trying to tell everybody, I was like, yeah, I'm going on this dope trip. And then people like, FOMO is a big thing. So it's like, they'll come out, they're like, oh, how come you didn't tell me? I was like, yeah, I came to a point where it's just like, I can't tell you.
Sometimes they need to see.
Exactly.
You can tell them, but they need to see and they realize what they missed out on. And like you said, FOMO is the best promotion. We all had a great time, or you weren't there. I'm sorry.
To the next one. That's the thing. There's always going to be another one, and there's always going to be and obviously we've adapted with the times, and we've made certain adjustments to make sure that Outsiders still continues.
How do you like the Volvos versus the bus? Because I know we were talking to Jamie, and Jamie's always adamant about the bus party. But how do you like the Volvos?
The Volvos are great because I feel like the buses were a great time. Like we have, when we fill out the bus, it's like close to 50 people all on the bus, and then you have some people here, you have some people there.
Yeah.
But I feel like now that we've evolved with the times, once again, it's good because it allows me as a guide or any other guide to have more intimate conversations with the people involved. Let's say we have myself and like 5 other people in the Volvo, you get to have that one-on-one interaction. And
it's more intimate.
Now that we're also hiking, obviously keeping social distance in mind, we're hiking within our smaller groups. You can continue those conversations, continue those genuine interactions,
and there's so intermingling between cars as well. But I feel like the connection you have with your car mates per se is you're spending an hour and a half, if you take the way there and the way back, you're spending 3 to 4 hours in a car with 4 people, 5 people, whatever. And you get to know them because conversation, you get to know what their, music tastes are because whenever a certain song comes on, you start bobbing your head. Oh, you like this too? What else are you into? So,
it's great because also like you'll have the return outsiders, the people who come back for later events, and they might not necessarily be in your car, but you'll see them like, hey, what's going on? You remember that conversation, you'll have that interaction, but then they will interact with another guide, and then they'll gain more from that, and that just makes for a very wholesome and a great experience.
I like when they're like, I finally get to be in Ifeanyi's car. I finally get to be in Pat's car. Like I like to experience that because they see you. You're essentially a public figure. You're regarded as one of the leaders for the group because that's what we are, right? You're a leader.
Absolutely.
So people want to get to know them and they want a piece of you. Could be in every sense of the way, but at the same time, they want a piece of your attention. They want a piece of, they want you to know who they are.
Yes,
they want validation almost.
Yeah.
So I feel like being in those Volvos, being the more intimate setting, obviously they're great, beautiful cars.
They're
massage
phenomenal.
seats.
Thank
and
you
all
very
that
much,
stuff.
Volvo, by the way. Thank you.
Shout out to Volvo. But just the smaller groups makes connection more. I guess it's not. You could get connection on the bus, but it's more intimate connection.
It's more intimate. Yeah. It's definitely more genuine, and I feel like that adds an incredible amount to the whole overall experience. Are
you a big anime fan? Yeah.
I was a bit of a nerd growing up, and still am. And I don't deny that. It's who I am. I grew up watching all the anime, Dragon Ball Z.
I was gonna say, what season of Dragon Ball Z you on right now?
I finished.
That's our producer Bam's chiming in. It's not God. Is that you?
I finished Super, and I haven't gotten the newest one, and I'm just. They're doing a lot right now, so I have to give it some time to process in.
You definitely got some diverse interests, and
for sure,
it was really cool to see that. What else do you do for fun?
Besides outsider hikes, I enjoy.
They're already sold. They're good.
I enjoy watching movies. I wouldn't say I'm a huge movie buff, but I love give me some like Marvel movies, DC movies. I guess that goes back to the whole nerd in me. I thrive off of that. I love riding my bike, and that comes off, especially last summer when we were riding everywhere, every weekend, every chance that I could be on the bike.
I mean, that was a savior for us mentally. I mean,
those bike rides.
Physically, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I that summer will remain great memories for the rest of my life. I will never forget those memories.
Absolutely. So I've been trying to read more. It's a bit harder because back when I was reading a lot, I would read on the subway, and everybody, like, some people will nap on the subway, some people do whatever, some people listen to music. I always tried to read on the subway, but now that I'm driving everywhere, the pandemic kind of
audiobooks are great for driving.
They are audio. I don't know. It's still.
I've gotten through more books because of audiobooks.
Really?
Like in the first. In April, there was a 2-week period where I went through 4 books in 2 weeks.
I feel like I just need to do that now instead of just listening to the same albums over and over again. But it's
I mean, if you can't find the time to read a book because you're driving, audiobooks are great. There's a question I wanted to ask you and I forgot. You're a firefighter. You must have some crazy stories. Maybe not. What's the craziest story from you've experienced as a firefighter?
I don't know. There've been a number of different situations. I feel like it's sad that the most memorable one is that time that saved a dog from an elevator. People get stuck in elevators all the time.
Yeah.
And I do remember this one time. I actually remember the exact location. It was like between 52nd and 53rd and 7th Avenue. And there was a report of a guy stuck in the elevator. When the elevator was like halfway up to like my chest, and we opened it up. There was a giant golden retriever, and it was just shivering. It was
by
scary.
itself?
No, his owner was in there.
I
mean, I saved the dog. We saved the dog and the owner, but more importantly,
the dog knew to ring the emergency bell.
More importantly, the dog was
amazing.
in there, and I remember we finally we were able to open the doors up, and I was just kind of goading the dog to come out, and then it slowly. I mean, dogs are they're very aware. Obviously, the owner was scared, so the dog started being more scared. It was in there for quite some time. And it finally came out. It was just in my arms. And at that moment, I was like, yes, I made the right career choice. Holding this scared golden retriever.
That's a great story.
I mean, yeah, there's tons. I mean, there's fires, there's accidents. But at the most part, I tried not to take work home. That's one thing that I feel stresses people out a lot. I mean, with everything that you see in the day-to-day, and if it's that much worse, I mean, PTSD is a huge issue, not only in the military, but also all emergency workers. At a certain point, it's hard for them to process everything that they see throughout the day. And I made it a goal of mine to just not bring work home, because me doing that would be very stressful.
I mean, that's a great goal, but I mean, I can imagine it's not something you just snap your fingers and be like, fine, maybe you can. I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's different.
I'm not a first responder.
Yeah, it's different for everybody. I just kind of just almost take a mental moment after work.
Meditation, somehow, a form of meditation?
I mean, meditation of some sort, or just like processing or self-reflection. And before I go home, I'm just like, all right, this happened. I can't let it, because there'll be situations that are good. There'll be situations that are really bad, and I just can't let that weigh me down. I mean, who knows? I mean, hopefully it's working so far. Knock on wood. Nice table, by the way.
Yeah, it is. But that's commendable, because there's a lot of people that I know that have a hard time handling the everyday stresses, and they're not first responders.
Absolutely.
So maybe, I mean, in my eyes, you're built for this. I mean,
May is what is it? Mental
health awareness month. Yeah.
So that's definitely like what you don't have to be a first responder to at least take that moment to reflect and say, see what bothers you, see what aspects of your life can affect it.
This is like a reoccurring theme, and I'm appreciative that you as a man are talking about this, because we talk about how men don't usually talk about their mental health, and you brought it up. There's a social stigma behind it, right?
Yeah, of course, there's a fear. There's like, oh, I'm a guy, I have to be jockey, or I have to be strong for.
No, but it takes more a bigger man to be able to express himself, to cry, to be vulnerable, to talk about his insecurities or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
So, that's I feel like me doing that makes me more of a man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel like the good thing is that the times are also changing. So there's more resources available to people throughout. There's more media saying, like, it's okay to have these emotions. It's okay to feel. It's okay to reach out to somebody for help when you need it. And I feel like that alone is tremendous, because a lot of people back in the day, like, even not even back in the day, 90s, 2000s, that wasn't a thing. Like people would still be like, oh, this person feels this sort of way, they must be crazy, or this person feels some sort of way.
Right.
And that's not
Cheers
healthy.
to that, brother.
Absolutely. That's
Cheers
not
to
healthy.
that.
So I'm happy I'm living in this time.
Now let's hope with more time that it keeps on progressing in that direction.
Absolutely.
You know, imagine what it's going to be like in 10, 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
You know?
5 years. Seriously.
What are there any dreams and goals in your life that you have yet to achieve? Like, what are your aspirations?
Aspirations, own several houses, have generational wealth. I mean, and at the same time, just live life every day, enjoying it. Live life, doing everything that I can.
What would make you happy? Obviously, financial freedom is great and so on, but is there anything else, like any wild dream you want to share with us? There's no wrong answer.
No, honestly, just I love to travel, and I've been trying to just go as many places as possible. Obviously, the pandemic happens, so that put a pause on it. But once people are more vaccinated and once it dies down, I definitely like to start traveling more. Obviously, build a family, and just make the best out of the life that I have.
Yeah, the last international trip I took was February 2020 to Hokkaido, Japan for that ski trip we did.
Oh my gosh, we talked about FOMO. I experienced FOMO so badly.
February 20th, it was a great trip.
Badly.
February 2021, though, something else happened that was very special. Mr. February.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Bams, our producer, will you be able to cut in an image if I send you an image?
You send me, I can put it in there.
No.
This
sure, you don't have to.
Wait, what's your tag on Instagram?
Eat Sweat Swag.
All right, so we do follow each other. So I remember seeing the pictures. I was like, wait, why do I remember that?
Yes, you saw it. You saw him.
Yeah. So get me that. We can cut that.
I will.
Oh, God.
So what we're talking about is Ifeanyi's obviously a firefighter. He's like a chiseled work of art. When you see him with his shirt off, pause. But hey, I'm man enough to say that.
Play.
Play. Okay. So he actually made, and I'm surprised. I want you to tell us how this came about. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, but he made the firefighter calendar for Mr. February, which means he's got his shirt off, he's flexing in all his glory on the firefighter calendar. How did that come about, and why did that happen when it did?
So the tryouts for that they basically make it public within the firefighter community, within the FDNY community, because it's not just firefighters, it's EMT, and it's all EMT and firefighter workers. They posted it up pre-COVID, and it was almost a joke on my part because some of my coworkers saying that they were doing it. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll try it out. And it came to a point where I was like, if I'm gonna try it out, I might as well take it seriously. And I was working out.
You were, you were. This
still
man
am.
is always working.
I am.
I believe you were born with an 18-pack.
It's my way of, honestly, some people have different ways of de-stressing. Working out is my way.
Yeah.
So I will run.
Would you say you work out for mental health reasons as well?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Obviously, physical and vanity reasons. I'm sure anyone who works out does. But for me, I notice when I don't work out, what I notice the most is, one, my stress levels are higher. I have a harder time dealing with stressors.
Absolutely.
Two, my body, it hurts when I don't work out.
Yes.
But that's my age maybe too. But like if I don't work out, I'm sore, but not a good sore. If I work out, I'm sore, but a good sore.
No, absolutely. And it helps me. And a lot of it is just like long-term thinking, because I feel like I want to keep, I'm not who I was in my 20s. And I could run a lot more back then.
How old are you now?
I'm 32. Yeah, 32.
Did you forget?
Yeah,
wait till you get to my age.
It's a memory going away. That's the first thing to go. But I'm thinking on the long term. Like obviously, when I have kids, I want to be able to run around with them. I want, ideally, like if my kids are in sports, I want to be able to help them out with these sports. Or I want to get to a point where I want to consistently stay active, live an active and healthy lifestyle, and that starts with working out.
So I want you to tell us what the tryouts were like.
It was.
Tell us, what is it like? You show up, you get a pump on, you lather yourself with like baby oil, super 80s cheesy montage stuff. What is it?
They gave dates. I showed up. Yes, I did a few push-ups right before the tryouts. I did a few push-ups.
You got to.
Just a few. And it was they gave me 3 poses that I had to do, and
Can you give us one of them right now? Hit us with a pose.
like that. It's kind of like blue steel.
Oh, is that what it is? You're such a liar.
And I did it, and I didn't hear back from them, and then
Be like, don't call us, we'll call you.
I was just triggered automatically. No.
Did he?
And then eventually they said, hey, you were selected. And then I still didn't hear back from them. I was like, okay. And then they finally called me back. They're like, hey, we're doing the shoots. And it was in Queens in the where they had
Please put that photo up again in this moment too, please. We need to see that multiple times.
Yeah, it was on top of one of the rigs. And it was, at first I was like, I felt weird, but I was obviously when you're in front of a camera over and over again, you feel a little bit more comfortable. So he's like, all right, they took several shots. I took it, and then once again, I didn't hear back from them. And then the pandemic happened, and then randomly they were like, hey, by the way, the calendars are out, but obviously since there is a pandemic, we can't do any tours, which I was honestly thankful for.
Oh, you'd have to go on tour promoting the calendar?
Yeah, so doing a tour, and
that would be hilarious.
So I just got the calendar, and I was like, you know what? I did it once, and I have no regrets at all.
I'm glad you did it, because now we have a little material to poke fun. I have to be honest, man, if I looked the way he did, I'd want to be on there.
But it was good. It was definitely an interesting experience, something to do for the career.
It's amazing. It's on your resume now, Mr.
Yeah,
Mr.
right?
February. Maybe let's restart this. Today's special guest is Mr. February. What is your favorite part of Outsiders?
Before I would say it's the different events, but as
what do you mean by different events? The different kinds of activities we do?
Different activities,
Okay.
the hikes, the different sites, and just being able to be a part of that. And now it's more so the ability to let people experience that initial enjoyment. So it seems
seeing their happiness.
Yes,
You are so selfless.
it's scary because a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm sorry I'm holding you back. I'm sorry. I'm like, trust me, I'll be walking so slow, and I'll be with the last person there, and just having that interaction, having that talk and talking with them, just making them feel that they are a part of it, because that might happen. Like you might take that leap to do an activity, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm not fit for it, or I'm not ready, or I'm shy, and there'll be the introverts, there'll be all sorts of personalities.
Mm-hmm.
But then you'll have that moment. It's like, well, at least this person's here, and
right.
You're at the same time. It's not like I'm just awkwardly walking with them, and you'll find out more about them. And by the time everybody catches up, they're like, yeah, everybody's excited, and seeing that is very important. I say this over and over again, but having everybody, like when we all finally meet back at the Volvos, and just everybody's like cheering and all, like, yeah, we made it, whether it's a bike ride or it's a hike or whatever the adventure is, just having the last people, everybody come together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's priceless for me. So that is my favorite part, and I will keep on doing it as long as my body will let me.
Well, we'll keep on having you because we need you there, and I appreciate you. There's moments when we never show this to the attendees, but things aren't exactly going as they're supposed to. There's been a couple moments, and I have to be honest, it's stressful for me because I'm the one responsible organizer, but there's been moments where things haven't gone as planned, and your demeanor and your help has calmed me down and from having like a panic attack. So you're not just calming and making people feel safe that are patrons, but even me. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I mean, if everybody's enjoying it, then it makes everything worthwhile. So even with the hiccups, because that all adds to the experience. Like there's been situations where it's just like where I could sense it, like where it's like, all right, this isn't going the right way, so let's figure out a way to bring everything circling.
And it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's natural. Like you can't write a script for a good experience, but at the same time, you can still set the themes, you can still set the markers, the chapters to make it come together.
What is your most embarrassing moment?
Most embarrassing moment was in middle school. I was on the subway, and my friend Odell, one of my best friends growing up, he was telling me, he's like, yeah, you need to be more outgoing. You need to just like flirt more. And I had no idea. I was so awkward. I didn't know how to flirt at all. So I just gave it a shot. I was on the subway. I went to school.
How old were you then?
I was middle school, so I don't know, like maybe, I don't know, 10, 11.
Yeah.
No, actually, this was high school. let me take that back. It was high school because he went to another high school. I went to one.
So tell us about you shot your shot. What happened? How'd you do it?
So I was on the subway in the Bronx. The trains are above ground, and I was sitting in in the middle stall, in the middle car, all the way at the end. I was sitting down, and the doors open. I was like, "This is gonna be the shot." Like I saw a girl at the end of it. She walked out, and she walked by, and I winked. I was like,
"And what'd she say? Don't call me. I'll call you."
And her look of it was visceral, just like, ew.
Oh,
what are
creep
you doing?
status.
And I was
Really?
like, from that moment on, I actually, till this day, I don't wink.
Do you know how to wink? Or was it like one of these?
Whatever it was, it just didn't work. So.
Your first mistake was hitting on a girl from the Bronx.
Oh, come on. Bronx needs love too, man. Bronx needs love too.
I'm not saying they don't need love, but those girls are rough up there. Like that. You gotta come straight.
Yeah, we got plenty of love for the Bronx and listen to our producer Bams.
All day. Yeah, most embarrassing moment.
Okay, that's not too bad. Is there any question I haven't asked you that you want to? Is there anything you want to tell people about yourself that we haven't shared yet?
I mean, I try to make. I am who I don't know. It's hard to say. Whatever questions are asked, I try to just provide the most genuine answer. So it's.
You are basically what people say.
Yeah.
What you see
is what you get. Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. I had a feeling you were going that route. So every episode we end our show with 5 rapid fire questions. Mm-hmm. Okay. Relax. Uh-oh. Maybe have a drink, a sip of beer.
I'm gonna need this.
Yeah. No, you're not.
I actually do need this. That's all right.
Plug. So 5 rapid fire questions. Yes. First thing comes to mind, you answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, Afro beats or metal? He's a metalhead, by the way. Metal. I know the stereotype of a metalhead is not you. I'm not going to explain why, but you're not the stereotype. But you love metal, huh?
I love metal. Like there are 4 concerts that now that things are opening up more. There are a few concerts that are lined up in September, October, November, and
give me some band names.
August Burns Red, Coheed and Cambria, Disturbed.
Coheed and Cambria. No,
oh my gosh, Slipknot.
Slipkot's still around. They were around when I was in high school. Yeah.
Oh, they got a big show coming up in the summertime. Yeah.
Knotfest.
Really?
Yep.
Korn.
Where's Knotfest?
Iowa, I think.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Iowa.
It's gonna be.
I'd rather you do like the Deftones thing in LA personally, but yeah. Okay.
So all these like. August Burns Red, I know, is definitely performing. I actually have tickets from last year that they were postponed due to COVID.
Same. I got tickets to Deftones, South Street Seaport.
Once this happens, I'm so excited. I'm going to be right in the middle of the pit. Well, probably not. I'm getting older, so my body doesn't recover as quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful. We got some outsiders to guide. Okay. Next question. Hiking or biking?
Biking.
Okay. If you weren't a firefighter or an IT specialist, what would you do?
That's hard.
Come on, rapid fire questions.
Flight attendant. I don't know.
Okay. Have you ever saved a cat out of a tree?
No, that doesn't happen in New York City. If a cat goes up the tree, the cat's gonna get back down.
Was that a stupid question?
No.
Okay.
It happens all too often.
The last question for you is, what is your favorite food?
I would say Thai food.
All right. Well, Thai food is what you brought for us to have. This is the last bit. We end the show with asking these 5 questions. The last question is always, what's your favorite food? And you brought us some Thai food, right?
Yeah. Honestly, I bought Thai food. I went to Thailand a couple years back with my friend, and it was the most amazing experience. The food, the street food was phenomenal. Went to small islands, went to a little small mom and pop restaurants, and it was the most fresh.
So what did you bring today?
I brought some dumplings.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, some dumplings.
I only do these interviews so people bring free food.
That's what we thought. That's what we suspected.
Yeah, we had a conversation.
All right, dumplings. Oh, and what is it? Spring roll or
spring rolls? And then there's actually some pad see ew, which are like the flat noodles.
Where?
It should be coming right now in a little bit.
Okay. We got some more food coming in.
Yeah,
all right. So tell us what we have here.
We have different types of dumplings. We have the regular fried dumplings.
We got a feast.
Yeah,
this is better than a lot of people have brought us.
Listen, if you're gonna eat, you gotta eat well, man. I live by that. You eat, you gotta eat well.
All right. So what do we have in here?
So that it should be the dumplings. It looks dumplings. It looks very similar to like shumai, the shrimp and pork. Steamed dumplings.
Why did you pick this?
I I like it a little because it's a combination of healthy and not so healthy. The fried dumplings, everybody loves fried dumplings. They're like egg rolls.
It's great drunk food.
Oh, it's so phenomenal. It's so
Not
good.
that we're promoting being drunk, but
absolutely
just
not.
saying.
I'd wink, but we all know how that works.
No winking to scare off our fans.
And then there's the steamed dumplings over here, which is, like I mentioned, they're very similar to shumai, which I love. And
What
we
is
have-
noodles?
These noodles are pad see ew. I think one is chicken, one is pork. I think the one on by you is the chicken.
That's me?
Pad see ew.
Oh.
They're flat noodles with some broccoli rabe, some typical Thai sauce. I couldn't make it if I could. But it's phenomenal.
Delicious.
It's my go-to.
You have a favorite Thai restaurant you get this from?
Where I get it from usually isn't necessarily my favorite. It's just for the simple fact that it's closer. My favorite one is around the Union Square area. They make really.
What's it called?
Laut. Laut.
Okay.
And I like it because the atmosphere is amazing. You go in there and they have like this amazing mural, like artwork right up on the wall. The drinks come in like small. They have like this one drink that comes in, like the Chinese food rice container.
Yeah.
They actually have the drink inside the container. They fold it up.
Really?
And it's bomb.
This is
it's
great,
amazing.
man. Thank you for
absolutely.
bringing the food. Thank you for being a great guest.
No, thank you.
Appreciate you for being such a caretaker, such a big part of Outsiders, bringing in other people like with Jamie, and always promoting us.
Yeah.
And I hope we have you with us for many years to come.
And as long as I can physically come, I'll try to be there.
Brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. That's the episode with Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi. It took me a while to remember that name or say the name, but Ifeanyi Firefighter, aka Mr. February.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
Peace.
Cheers, everybody.